excited to share this project with you. It is going to get a little bit messy, so if I were you, I'd make sure you're wearing something you don't really care about, or maybe you have an apron you can wear. We are going to be making stained glass hearts using black glue. So I'll show you how to make the glue and what you'll need, and I hope you have a lot of fun. Can't wait to see what you guys create. For our first step, you want to have a piece of paper. I'm just using a scratch paper, it's pretty thin. You'll want to take a pencil and carefully draw your heart onto your scratch paper. This is going to be the size of your final project, so make sure you're keeping in mind that you're trying to sketch pretty large, so a little bigger than your hand. That way it's nice and big when you hang it in your window. There are so many ways to draw a heart. You can either use a stencil or you can follow along how I'm drawing. I like to just start with one side, whichever side is more comfortable. So I'm starting with the right hand side of my heart, carefully drawing only half. I want to carefully draw the second side so it matches the first side. So I'm using my pencil and sort of gauging about how tall that second half needs to be, and then starting the curve. Then when I start to draw the second half, I'm constantly looking at the other side to make sure it's about the same size. The point at the bottom of my heart should line up with the center of my heart. However, it's okay if it's not perfect. Everyone's heart will look a little bit different. It's okay if yours does not look like mine. Now we're ready to start designing the inside of our heart. You can look up ideas, different stained glass ideas and how those spaces are broken up, or you can just use a ruler and start drawing your shapes. Keep in mind you will be filling these in with color, so I wouldn't make them too tiny and also not too large. Once I am done with my design, I am ready to start with my plastic piece to lay over my design to start with my stained glass. I'm using a protective sheet cover. It's just something I had laying around. You can also use plastic from anything else. Maybe you have recycled materials around your house. Just make sure that you cut it so it's nice and flat and will lay flat against your window. You want the plastic to be about the size of the heart, at least the same size, hopefully a little bit bigger. It's okay if this doesn't work out the first time. You might have to do this a couple of times, but you'll always have your sketch to reference. For our black glue, you're going to need about a 1-to-1 ratio. So I emptied some of that glue out of my Elmer's bottle. That way I have room to start adding my black paint. I'm using acrylic paint, but you can also use tempera paint or even black ink. I'm using the back of my old paintbrush to mix, but you can use any long skinny tool to mix. And then it's a good idea to keep checking and making sure it's dark enough for your stained glass. For the next step, you don't want your plastic to be sliding around, so I'm going to tape my plastic to my paper and then even my paper to my working surface. That way I know it's nice and secure. Now we're ready to start outlining. Be careful that you don't drag your hand through your black glue. It will take time to dry. So I'm starting on the left-hand side and then working my way to the right-hand side, being really careful. You might need to occasionally clean your cap if you're getting a little bit goopy with that glue. If your hand gets a little bit tired as you're working, you can always use two hands. Just make sure you're holding that glue bottle vertically so you don't accidentally drag your hands through your wet glue. Before we start to add color, our project needs to be dry. So close your glue cap and make sure that you let it dry before our next step. Now that our project is dry, we're ready to start adding color. I'm using Sharpie and making sure that my strokes are all in the same direction. That way it's nice and neat. You can add color however you wish. I'm starting with red first and then I'm going to move on to my next color, sort of making a pattern. But again, this is your project and it's all up to you how you want it to look. Once it's all colored in, we're ready to cut our heart out. This next step is optional. I'm using a hole punch, that way I can put string through the hole and hang it in my window. You could also make a frame for your work or just hang it in the window as is. And that's all. Thank you for watching and I can't wait to see what you made.